On this week's weekly video fishing forecast, we have footage from the striper blitzes happening to the west. We have advice on switching out those treble hooks for single hooks. NOAA wants to impose a 10-knot speed restriction on boats 35 feet and over. We have what you need to know about the rule that may go into effect next fall. Jenni Ackerman shares with us tips on reading the beach and our correspondence check-in from around the island, all here at thefisherman.com.
The Fishing News is sponsored by these fine partners.
For 20 years, anglers everywhere have come to know one thing, that nothing says no to fish bites.
Today's Thursday, November 16, 2023, and I'm here at Steiger Craft Boats in Bellport, where they'll be holding an open house where you can check out all their boats and get a tour as well. More details later in this broadcast. We start off this week's weekly video fishing forecast with insane footage from meteorologist Rich von Ohlen and his friend Bill fishing from Deb's Inlet. They had non-stop surface action all day. We'll have more from Rich later in the broadcast to check on this weekend's weather forecast. With so many fish around, you may want to consider changing out your treble hooks for single hooks. Not only is this better for the fish, but it'd be better for your fingers as well.
We're here to talk today about hooks and replacing hooks on lures and things of that nature. I have actually been traveling up and down the coast from North Carolina and Maine since the holiday here back in September. And a couple of things I keep finding, especially in Jersey, Long Island, a little bit up in New York, is I want to replace the treble hooks with my cedar plugs for stripers. It sounds like a bunch of different hook companies through the past couple of years, especially with COVID, have been experiencing some issues, especially when it comes to cutting the eyelet of the hook, manipulating it to fit into an actual swivel of the custom plug. So this particular jaw lock treble here comes in packages like this. I forget exactly which hook this was, but this was taken from one of my North Jersey shops. He cut it, started bending it back and forth just to see how pliable it was, and more importantly, would it snap off like some of the others. I took it to a shop a little bit further south, kind of in the north where the bite's still going on, and he tweaked it back and forth. Right prior to this video, you and I were tweaking it right back and forth. So I feel pretty confident that you can twist this thing 4, 5, 6, 7 times, depending upon your force. You got to be nimble to allow it to get onto your custom plug. Now, some of you folks that don't want trebles, you want to get into the conservation mind of things, you want to go to a single hook. We have that option in the Ruthless Inline. This is the new hook by Alpha Point. It probably started hitting stores, I'd say, within the past 2 weeks. You're going to start seeing it at tackle shops, especially TackleDirect.com will have this. But what this does is it gives you the option. Do you want to run your trebles? If so, you can cut it and manipulate it to your need, or you can jump to a single hook inline if you prefer. Much like we discussed with other lures, if you do go to a single inline, just make sure that your hook point comes up on the rear hook and down on the belly. You might mess up a couple times. I'm an expert, a fishing guide, whatever you want to call it from the past. I mess it up still, so don't be ashamed if you go to rig it and it's pointing down when it should be pointing up, because I do it too. So in this particular lure here, this is a Salt Pro Minnow 15F. That's the 15F. We took the treble hooks off mostly because Jim wants to go more conservation minded and go to a single hook from a treble, but some of you might have rusted trebles that you want to swap out. So what we did with the Mustad Alpha Points in this particular case, we came in with a Ruthless Inline, size 1 for the rear hook, and we rigged it so that when you're reeling it through the water, the actual hook will ride up and be facing the sky essentially, so that any fish that comes up and hits it, you have him full right here. On the belly hook, we actually went to the Ruthless Inline 2/0. And the reason being is because we have a wider body and we needed to just have a little bit more clearance so that lures don't, hooks don't get snagged in on the lures, and it gives you ample clearance from the tail hook not to catch each other. So it's a 2/0 Ruthless Inline on the belly hook, and it's a 1 out on the tail. Now, if you go to a different hook or a different lure company, like let's just say a Bomber, you might have to manipulate this a little bit. You might need a 3-0 and a 2-0, a 2-0 in the rear, a 3-0 up front. I say that you guys have to figure out for yourself.
When fishing from the beach, knowing how to read the surf can put you at a big advantage. Here's the Fisherman's Jenni Ackerman with some tips.
Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Open Boat. Today we're going to be talking about some very important things when you're fishing off the surf. It's about identifying structure. So it's important to know what you're looking for when you're fishing off the surf, because you just don't want to be blind casting. You've got to know how to identify sandy bottom structure. So I'm going to talk about 3 things today: sandbars, troughs, and cuts. So to start, a sandbar is a little lump in the sand. It's a sandbar, self-explanatory, and you can identify these by seeing when a wave forms and it starts to crest as it's coming in and crashes down. That's when it meets the sandbar. That's when it starts to crest and cut. And coming in, you have smaller waves that don't crest, like little tiny little baby waves coming into the wash. So that's your sandbar. Following your sandbar, you have the sandbar, and then in between that and the beach, you have your trough. A trough is a little deeper bit of water. And what's awesome about a trough is it can hold bait fish and predator fish. It can hold peanut bunker, little rainfish, sand eels, and those predator fish like stripers, bluefish, fluke in the summertime, they hang out in that trough because that's their meal source. The trough is like a buffet for these predator fish here. So the trough is easy to identify. Like I said, you see those little cresting waves, but usually if you have a sunny day, you could see the darker water color for said trough. So how do these bait fish and predator fish get into the troughs past the sandbar? They use cuts. Cuts in the sandbar. The best way to visually describe them is a rip current that you see in the summertime. You have that rough white water pushing water out, and that's your cut in the sandbar. That's like the Garden State Parkway from, you're in New York, you're trying to take the Garden State Parkway down to get to like Belmar. That's your cut. That's the parkway into the trough. So they use that cut to get into the trough and feed, and that's a good spot for you to fish. So I had great success fishing a trough last month. I was fishing a bucktail in a trough, and I had my 49-inch bass that I caught in that trough, and that was amazing and very rewarding. And after you guys watch this video and familiarize yourself with sandy bottom structure, you can now see, oh, that's a trough. I know that I can find a good cut and fish that cut going into the trough. There's a sandbar. I'm gonna look for that now. I recommend going to like your favorite fishing beaches at like low tide and look for those sandbars. Try to find those at low tide. Just know what you're looking for. And I wish you guys luck on your next surf adventure.
Catch. NOAA wants to impose a 10-knot speed restriction on boats 35 feet and over to protect the whales. This could be a big issue for us anglers fishing the ocean.
It's critical for everyone to weigh in on this issue. We still have time to influence the final rule on this, and for anglers in the Northeast, this is critically important. As everyone knows, the striped bass bite is exploding up off the coast of New York and New Jersey. If this rule were to go into place, all boats 35 and bigger starting November 1st would have to go 10 knots, and that basically shuts us out of that fishery. Not only the striped bass fishery, but yellowfin, giant tuna fishing. That is all going on right now and happens and keeps going all the way through December. So it's critical that you weigh in on this.
I'm asking the industry, I'm asking all our boaters, everybody. We have to unite in these next few months to keep this legislation out of where this required regulation, out of what we need. And we need to fight it because it'll be the next thing will be below 35 feet. It's already enacted above 65 feet. Nobody even knew about it, so please come with us and fight the fight.
Click on the card and look for the link in this video's description. In this week's digital edition of the Fisherman magazine, Tony Durso has an article on metal lip plugs. Just in time for this hot bite, John Spinelli has insight on the striper migration. And for all you anglers that may be traveling this winter, check out my review of the Rockaway travel surf rod. All this and more in this week's digital edition of the Fisherman magazine. Remember, $30 gets you all this content in print and digital format, and you're automatically entered into the Dreamboat contest. Now let's get the latest on the leaderboard standings.
Major changes here. The competition is heating up as the Dreamboat Challenge nears its conclusion. 4 entries hit the board this week, and they all made waves. Mark Touchette started the bidding with his 4.4-pound sea bass, taking second place in the category. Then Garrett Krause joined the game with this 8.2-pound tog that took 7th place in the category. Things got interesting when Norman Bouchard came out of nowhere with this 16.2-pound category-leading bluefish that vaulted him onto the scoreboard. And Bobby Cifarelli pulled a Babe Ruthian feat with his mind-blowing 16.26-pound tog, taking first place in the category and perhaps cementing a Dreamboat win. The top 3 looks like this. Norman Bouchard now holds 3rd place with 17 points. Kyle Krause was knocked out of the first place and now stands in 2nd place with 30 points. And Bobby Cifarelli, with this Titanic tog, now stands alone in 1st place with 33 points. The Dreamboat Fishing Challenge is a Fisherman subscriber-only multi-species fishing competition with a chance to win a 21-foot Steiger Craft center console powered by Yamaha, along with many other great prizes. Visit thefisherman.com to subscribe and get all the details so you can be part of the action.
Steiger Craft is holding their open house on Saturday. Here's George from Steiger Craft with all the details.
Hey guys, George here from Steiger Craft, just letting you know about the open house we're having Saturday, November 18th. We're going to have all of our models on display. We're going to have reps from Mercury, Yamaha, Seakeeper, and Minn Kota. So come on down, see all the boats. There'll be deals going on, so come and see us.
If the beach is more your style, then there's a big surf show at the Huntington Hilton featuring top plug makers, manufacturers, and gear. There's over 125 booths. The show is from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. I'll be there manning the booth. I advise you get there early for the plug specials. Then the tradition continues. November 25th, Saturday after Thanksgiving, is the Lindenhurst Fishing Flea Market. For more details and events, check out thefisherman.com/events. Now let's go around the island for some notable catches. First up is one of our contributors, David Rogers. Let us know the Albies are still in the Western Sound and sent over this picture of one he caught on an epoxy jig. The big tog I've started chewing. Captain Joe from Bloodline Sport Fishing out of Westlake in Montauk shared this amazing 16.5 pounder with me earlier in the week. Almost a dock record. Good stuff, Joe. Bluefish have made another showing along the South Shore and have been reported anywhere from Shinnecock to Fire Island. Dan Steigerwald weighed this one to J&J Sports in Patchogue from the Shinnecock area. This fish was 14 pounds. And you may or may not have heard, but right on those bluefish have been some big bluefin in the same area. Literally almost on the beach, this shot of a breaching bluefin was sent to us right outside of Fire Island Inlet a few days ago. Some have reported they have been getting spooled on their lighter bass and bluefish gear. If you think the run is over, think again. If you have a notable catch, email me at mbroderick@thefisherman.com with the photo and any details, and I will try and get into one of the weekly video fishing forecasts or in the magazine.
For more than 20 years, anglers everywhere have come to know one thing, that nothing says no to fish bites.
Rich, that's some epic bite to the west. How is the weather looking?
Hey, thanks, Matt. We'll check that weekend forecast. You can always check your favorite apps, weather tools, weather sites, whatever you got. This is a general heads up, general overview on the upcoming weekend. Before we go to the weather, again, some more epic action on the bass up and down the beaches between Jones Inlet and East Rockaway Inlet. These fish we were landing on Monday of the past week were not on bunker, not live. They were on artificials and topwater poppers and plugs and snap jigs and ronzies, and it was just a blast here. We were lucky enough to find pretty much the mother load of fish just coming into East Rockaway Inlet here with a big push of bass. Just so many of them crashing, just blasting some of the bunker and whatever bait was out there. And they stayed in the inlet for hours here. It was just amazing to see this, happening here. And of course, we were able to get in the action just on the topwater plugs, poppers, jigs, so close to the beach, close to the jetty, so you can kind of see it was just pretty insane action, pretty cool. If you can get out and about, pick your windows, pick your spots, and some of these fish are just absolutely amazing. So water temps coming down now. Weather looks like a little bit of a dicey weekend. We got 50s now. Friday, southwest breeze about 5 to 15. There's a little front coming in here for Saturday, a little rain, and then the front comes through, blasts through there with a northwest breeze late. Colder day on Sunday, more of a westerly breeze, maybe a little bit fishable, but the ocean's going to be a little bit riled up. We got 50s to near 60 on Saturday. It's the milder day, low 50s, a little cooler on Sunday. And you look at the guru here. I wish I had better news for you. Friday, maybe fishable, especially North Shore. With the south breeze, about 5 to 15 gusts to 20. Little early windows Saturday morning. If you really want to get out early before 9 a.m., you might be able to squeeze in some action, and then really starts to kick up northwest 20 to 30. Small crafts going up Saturday into Sunday, westerly Sunday, all day about, let's say about 10 to 20. So again, Friday, maybe the pick there. A decent shot from the southwest. Saturday, northwest 20 to 30 knots after 9 a.m., rough ocean with a small craft going up. And Sunday, west 15 to 30, still a rough ocean there, the sound 3 to 5, but either way, it does look like it's going to be a little bit dicey for the weekend. Wish I had some better news, but just be safe. Pick your spots, and it looks like some more better weather coming in going into the week of Thanksgiving. Be safe as always. Catch them up, get out if you can. Matt, back to you.
Now let's check in with Captain Timothy O'Rourke from Montauk. Tim.
Good morning, Matt. Well, greetings everybody from out here in Montauk. Just going to do a quick report, kind of caught up and forgot. Fishing, still incredible. The blackfish bite out in Montauk is off the charts. Guys are getting them whether you're on a party boat. Ebb tide's been doing well. Viking's been doing well. They've also been getting some decent codfish in the mix, which would hopefully bode well for an upcoming codfish season. So I'll send a couple pictures of that. Up in the bay, there's still squid fishing, the ebb tide, the Viking, and a couple of the other head boats are doing squid trips at night, and these guys are bailing up like a full 5-gallon pail pretty much every night average. Bass fishing's been really good as well. Surf casting, as everybody knows, basically from Montauk Point to Jamaica Bay, catching plenty of fish, still fish on the surface. A lot of giant tuna around. I know a lot of people have been seeing some videos of them busting on the beach, which is pretty cool. We saw them the other day. Had them busting around me this weekend and last week. Other than that, everybody enjoy the last licks. We've got a little bit of weather coming in for the weekend, so if you can get out, get out. But the surf casting should be good.
From Shinnecock, let's check in with Mike Dean.
Thanks, Matt. Hey, everyone. Still some really good fall fishing going on. I know there's a lot of people watch this video that have fished a lot longer than I have. I've been at it for like 10 years pretty regularly, and I've never experienced anything like this fall, and it's just been amazing. So grateful to have this fishing at, basically an arm's length and, by shore and by boat. And a lot of people have helped me out along the way and still do. So just amazing stuff. Okay, on to the actual report. Off the beach, a number of surfcasters, some have kind of either started to fish areas west, like Robert Moses and even west of there, with most of the bigger fish kind of having moved on. You never know, 15, 20, even 30 pounders have always popped up like late season around here. But predominantly it is those like 26 to 28, 29 inch size fish. I fished a couple of nights ago, and every single cast, a schoolie, going into sunset and then after dark. Got into a couple of slots and some more smaller fish, but just a lot of fun to just be constantly catching. By boat last weekend, Saturday and Sunday was great, chasing birds, throwing swim shads, topwater, diamond jigs, flutter spoons, and the storm shads were the ones that were fishing the best. Although on the diamond jig, my son got a pretty nice bluefish. 50 to 70 feet of water held a lot of really good-sized bluefish. Couple of bigger bass, and as most people have heard about, there have been a lot of giant bluefin tuna swimming in our waters, which is pretty wild. So I caught a glimpse of one just for like a half second, and just blows my mind to see something that size. So for those of you that have been seeing it, for those that have caught it, way to go. It's just crazy stuff. Blackfish bite is getting better with some of the the colder temps, colder waters. Hampton Ladies got on them pretty good. Still some sea bass around, which kind of people doing blackfish sea bass combo. Saw a couple of people fishing for tog in Moriches Inlet, both from the rocks and on their boats using a spot lock, and looked like a couple of good ones coming in. So for a lot of people, it's kind of like last licks on striped bass. So like I said, they're there. There's a ton of bait, bunker, mackerel, got a report of herring even. So I'm not packing in the gear yet, and hopefully this weekend we'll get a bit of a weather window to get out on my buddy's boat and try to get into some bigger fish, bigger blitzes, and just hope for the best. So anyway, get out there. Let us know how you do. Back to you, Matt.
From Northport, we have Cow Harbor Bait and Tackle.
Hey, we're heading into the third week in November, and this past week coming off the new moon, Phil and I celebrated my birthday as our traditional fishing trip on the James Joseph out of Huntington, and we just had a bang-up job. We limited out, no problem. I saw a lot of people, great smiles. It's always amazing to me how the mates can untangle lines with such ease, and patience. They really do such a great job. It's a professional job for so many of the for-hire people out there. So, treat them well, give some good tips and everything like that. And just great times. It's still fish in the back of the harbor. Those venturists who like to go on their kayaks. Water's still not so cold. It's, lower 50s. But it's just holding out for this time of the year. I see bass working the mouths back of the harbors daily. Just have to look for the birds. The birds are on these bait. Bass bring them to the bait to the surface, and the birds just work them. I've seen it going on for hours sometimes. And then with bluefish, we still have some bluefish around. Bait fishing's pretty good. Try some top water. It's just a lot going on. I'd have to say not so much, but there's stuff to happen. You just have to go pick your right tides, get out there, freshwater scenes picking up, and it's just a great time. Again, thanks out to, big shout out to James Joseph and their crew for hosting Phil and I. We just had a great time. Until next week, I bid you all peace and tight lines.
From Captree Bait and Tackle and Fuel, we have Brendan Wood-Tigliano.
Thanks, Matt. Lots of bass still on the South Shore. A lot of schoolies, just to that keeper slot mark. Really nothing like crazy big on the South Shore anymore, unless you're really west by, like New Jersey, Jamaica Bay, stuff like that. Bunker pods, you could still catch some big fish, even tuna if you want. But really like South Shore surf, like if you want, you can get schoolies, you can get, those slot fish, which is awesome. A lot of the guys, especially with this weekend coming up, it's going to be a little crazy, are moving to blackfish. We still have that $3 green crab deal. Just get out there and fish. Store will be open for another 2 weeks. Really Thanksgiving week is kind of our last week over here. We don't have heat, so we try and push it as long as we can, but sitting here for 12 hours in cold is tough. Get out there and look out on our Instagram for our Black Friday deals, which is going to be crazy this year. So yeah, all right, thanks again.
With our fly and freshwater report, we have Paul McCain from River Bay Outfitters.
Hello, Matt. Well, I'm out here trying to get into shape because I'm going to be heading up with this nip in the air. It gets my steelhead juices flowing. And hearing from the Salmon River how good it's been. Talking to friends of mine that went up there for a few days last week, Walter and Dennis, I tell you, they killed them. They had over 20 fish into the boat. They were hot-shotting, what they call hot-shotting, but talking to other people, the fly fishing has been good, but it's really been all about the eggs. There's a lot of salmon, dropped a lot of eggs this year, and the steelhead are keyed in on eggs. So if you're going up there, egg patterns. As the season changes, then they move into nymphs, and you can swing some flies. As far as on Long Island, the freshwater still is good. The ponds are still fishing good. There's a lot of trout. Talking to Queen's Jim, he went over to the Hempstead Lake and he caught his first trout of the year. He hasn't been fishing this year, so he was thrilled that he got his first trout. I'm hearing Carl's River is doing well. You got to put your time in. Massapequa Reservoir has fish. And of course, the Connecticut is just fishing phenomenal. Matt's doing a great job, him and his crew. As the salt goes, I was down at Jones Beach walking, trying to get into shape, and the boats were right outside the breakers, and there you could see the bass breaking. There's so many bunker schools out there, and the boats are there, and the surf fishermen are there, and I'm hearing good things. Of course, you got to be there when they're there. So it's the more time on the water, the more success you're going to have. As far as what we're doing is we're getting ready to start doing our fly tying classes in early January. It's a 10-week course. You're going to tie 8 flies a week. You're going to tie salt and fresh. It's a great way to get started. And if you want more information, go to riverbayoutfitters.com, and on the front page, you'll see all the information for the fly tying class. Also, sign up for the newsletter while you're there. So until next week, tie lines, everybody.
Let's check in with Chris Landry.
Thanks, Matt. Well, the big news is the bluefin beach tuna. Hundreds of yards from the beach, big giant bluefin tuna airing out, as you've seen on people's Instagram, like Gary from Jumpin' Mako, Fishing Gack, Billy Hayes. Just incredible footage of these giants airing out close to shore. They can be found from Shinnecock to Fire Island to Shark River and different spots around, and that's not a spot burn. This is out on Instagram. It's public information, so don't get mad at me. They are out there. You just have to be in the right place at the right time and get that connect. It's very difficult, but I'll be out there Friday trying to do it because the rest of the weekend looks bad. It's blowing. Wednesday, there's going to be close to 40-knot winds around Breezy Point. The week looks like a wash. It's getting ready to be the end of the season. We're trying to squeeze out a few more days because the bass fishing is still outstanding. The fish are getting smaller, but they are plentiful. But if you work hard, there's still some big ones. Rockfish today got a 52-pounder on the bogus scale, all right, on their charter today. So they work hard, they look for the big fish, and they get the big fish, a 52-pounder. Amazing. So congrats, Bezo, Adrian, and to your charter for landing that one today. So they're out there. There's only a few days left, so book now, Rocksteady charters, Rockfish charters, any of these charters out here, and get out because it's the last few days and it's still outstanding. All right, be safe out there. Watch the weather. Thank you, and back to you, Matt.
Let's check in with Max Finch from the Connecticut side of the Western South.
Hey everyone, Max here from Fisherman's World with another weekly fishing report. This past week leading up to the new moon tides, the bass bite out front has really blown open. Around the islands, 11B diamond jigging and 28C on the incoming. We've seen a lot of schoolie stripers bit in half, some monster bluefish. They've been in the mix out front, but fishing places like Sherwood Island, Bering Hill, the Stratford Beach has been really good, like Long Beach, Penfield Reef, and then the mouth of the Housatonic as the bass start to enter for the winter. We're hiding from the wind today, fishing up in the river. We found a bunch of good schools mixed in. And then the blackfish bite has been, really turned on shallow and deep. They're chewing really good. So 28C, the Celtic wreck, are deeper water wrecks, and then fishing shallow, places like Kakini Reef, George's Rock, the foul around Rowayton, Long Neck Point, and then guys running to the walls have been, reporting a really fantastic bite on New Haven breakwalls. Thanks and good luck.
The well-dressed Raul Ortiz, the urban angler, has a report from around the city.
Hey guys, Raul Ortiz here, the urban angler, with my report. Fishing continues to be good in Long Island, here in the city, also Long Island Sound. On the South Shore beaches, you can catch schoolies with your occasional 20-pounder. Here in the city, you got a bunch of schoolies and fish up to 40 pounds. Same as well for the Long Island Sound. Fishing is pretty hot right now. A lot of the bigger fish have moved on, but there's still a lot of fish around. My last few outings, again this week, pretty terrible right now. But I do understand that it's a day bite or sunrise and evening sunset bite. Anyway, that's how it goes. but I'm sure I'll get my opportunity when it comes. Anyway, guys, wish you all the best. Tight lines, and back to you, Matt.
Captain Mike Sentry has the latest from Staten Island.
Another fantastic week, and what can I say? Bass is literally still going on strong. Looking at the 20-day forecast, the water's definitely not as cold. The temperatures are going to be in the mid-50s to 60s, even some days in the 70s. So I expect a very warm winter, although it's not even winter yet, still technically fall. On the home front, local schools of bass are definitely here. Smaller numbers of bigger bass, but larger quantity size of the schoolie size 28 to 34 inch around there. My friend Robert with Eptide Charters, he's doing a fantastic job putting his clients on some nice size striped bass. Usually jigging, paddle tailing, diamond jigging is doing the trick. And on those tough days, trolling works. Mojos, 8-ounce, 4-ounce, tandems, white or chartreuse does the job. Another buddy of mine, Joe from Chasing Tail Charters, he's also doing a great job. He's focusing on swim shots like no life bait needed and match the hatch. Usually fish that's feeding on peanut bunker, you know, you want to match the hatch, but if you want a bigger fish, go with a bigger size shad, like a 6 inch instead of a 4 inch shad. On the ocean side, my friend Eddie Brown, also putting on fantastic days work for the striped bass. He's focusing in on some bigger bass on the ocean front, and he's definitely getting the job done on that one. Of course, that's all jigging and popping for them guys. So congrats to all of those threes. On the bluefin bite, a lot of 73-inch bluefin tuna are being landed and hopefully recorded. There are some really big ones out there. I mean, the Volkswagen size type of bluefin, pretty much in 30 feet of water, just demolishing the bunker pods. Waiting for December 1st, which is the commercial opening season for them. So if you're gonna go out there, 73-inch and under, make it work. Make sure your gear's top notch. If you're gonna follow the bunker pods, it's a run and gun type of deal. Like I said, Man Mantis does a great job. Hoagie Harness Tails, the Paddle Tails does great also. White is pretty good. With that said, guys, stay tuned, and I'll see you guys next week.
Ben Gilmour has the latest from Quepos, Costa Rica. Ben.
Hey guys, how's it going? This is Ben Gilmour with the captain of Muy Caliente, Jorge, down here in Costa Rica at the Marina Pez Vela. So guys, we got this week's fishing report. What's happening out there, Jorge, right now?
It's hot right there. We got some sailfish bite, blue marlins, mahi, tuna, so fishing been good so far.
Guys, one of the boats yesterday raised 5 marlin, just insane stuff, mainly blue marlin out there right now. There's a couple of stripies as well. Yesterday, my boat Good Day raised 8 sailfish. How many did you raise, Jorge?
We raised 10 sailfish and a blue marlin and some tunas and mahis too yesterday. So
very nice, and we got a 60-inch bull dorado yesterday. Inshore's picking up, guys. We got a few snook, we got some rooster fish. The fishing's hot down here in Costa Rica. Come and check us out. This is Ben Gilmour aboard Good Day and Captain Jorge aboard Muy Caliente. See ya, guys.
If you would like to be a part of our weekly video fishing forecast, we are looking for social media savvy anglers or hyperlocal reporting from the New York Metro and Long Island area, and especially from the beach. So if you're a captain, tackle shop, or just an avid angler, contact my producer at tcslibayrat@gmail.com. The Fisherman magazine has launched their apparel store, hats, sweatshirts, hoodies, t-shirts, all online now, and free shipping with orders over $100. It is the perfect gift for yourself. Visit thefisherman.com/shop or click on the card in the upper right. Tuna right off the South Shore, bass and blues in the mix, tagged to 16.5 pounds. Fishing is excellent right now. We'll have the latest for you next Thursday. See you then.